The text from my future sister-in-law, Vanessa, popped up with a cheerful ping. Engagement party details. Join us to celebrate Kyle and Vanessa. Rooftop at the Vanguard. Saturday, 7 p.m. A flutter of genuine excitement warmed my chest. My big brother was getting married. I immediately dialed his number, already mentally sorting through my closet. Hey, Kyle, got Vanessa's text. I'm so in for Saturday. What can I bring? The silence on the other end was just a beat too long. Maya, hey, uh, about that. His voice was flat, devoid of its usual teasing warmth. Vanessa and I decided to keep it really intimate, close family and our core friend group only. I laughed, the sound awkward even to my own ears. Kyle, I am close family. I'm your sister. Another pause, heavier. You know what I mean. People who've been consistently present. People who are part of our day-to-day life here. The words, so carefully chosen, landed like stones. I've been present, I said, my voice tightening. I flew back for your promotion dinner. I spent a weekend helping you paint your condo. That's not what I'm talking about, Maya. His sigh was a gust of frustration. Look, we want people who get what we're building, a stable future. Your life it's just different. It wouldn't be your scene. The unspoken verdict hung between us. I was not serious, I was not stable, I was not part of the blueprint for their perfect life. I see, I said quietly, the fight draining out of me. Enjoy your party. I hung up and sat in the silence of my own, very hard-earned studio apartment. The sting was familiar, a refined version of a childhood wound. Kyle, 3 years my senior, had always been the benchmark, the responsible corporate finance manager, the son who followed the script. I, Maya, the 29-year-old freelance travel writer and photographer, was the family's charming aberration, the free spirit whose hobby was politely tolerated but fundamentally dismissed. My recent purchase of this apartment, a monumental triumph of my nomadic hustle, had been met with a distracted, "That's nice, dear." Kyle's engagement had been a month-long festival of celebration. That night, the hurt curdled into a cold, clear resolve. I opened my laptop, navigated past drafts of articles from major travel magazines, past invoices from luxury resorts, and went straight to my airline portal. A one-way ticket to Maui, departing the morning of the engagement party, glowed on the screen. I booked it, then texted Kyle. Have a wonderful celebration. I'll be in Hawaii, working on a project that matters. I turned off my phone before any reply could come through. As I packed my professional-grade camera gear, the family group chat erupted. A cousin asked, "Is Maya coming?" Kyle's response was swift. "No, she's doing her own thing, as usual." My father chimed in with a laughing emoji, probably chasing a waterfall in Bali by now. Vanessa added the final, perfunctory nail. It's honestly less complicated this way. I took a screenshot, a digital fossil of my exclusion, then muted the chat forever. While my family toasted with champagne on a manicured rooftop, I was 30,000 feet over the Pacific, the hum of the engines a lullaby of liberation. I landed in Maui as the party back home would be winding down. When I finally turned on my phone, it was to a cascade of Instagram stories. My parents, aunts, cousins, all beaming in cocktail attire, captioned, "With all the people who matter." I was a ghost, neatly edited out of the frame. An aunt's private message, "Sorry you couldn't make it, dear. Traveling again?" went unanswered. 2 days later, shooting the molten gold sunrise over Haleakala, my mother called. "Maya, we need to talk about this tantrum. Kyle is hurt. You couldn't even send a proper congratulations?" "He disinvited me, Mom." "He curated his guest list," she corrected, her tone impeccably reasonable. "Running off to Hawaii is exactly the kind of impulsive act that makes people question your maturity." "I'm here on a paid assignment, Mom," I said, my grip tightening on my camera. A soft, dismissive scoff. "Taking pretty pictures isn't a real job, sweetheart." Kyle is building a future. You could learn from his focus. I ended the call and let the hot, silent tears come, the vast Pacific horizon swallowing my hurt. Then I wiped my eyes, raised my viewfinder, and got back to work. They had no idea what my work truly was. For over a year, my hobby had been a lucrative, strategic business. I was under an exclusive contract with Aurora Expeditions, a premier travel brand for their flagship Hawaii campaign. My fee was $40,000 plus expenses. My Instagram following of 200,000 was a carefully nurtured asset. My online photography masterclass had a wait list. My annual income, which I'd never flaunted, had quietly doubled Kyle's salary. But in my family's eyes, I was still the girl with a nice camera and a passport full of stamps. In Hawaii, I met up with Leo, a renowned documentary filmmaker and old friend. Over poke bowls, I told him about the engagement party. He shook his head, not with pity, but with recognition. They've placed you in a narrative that's too small for you. The only way out is to live a story so big it shatters the box. Meanwhile, the curated narrative of Kyle's perfect life continued online. My parents shared another album, so proud of our son and his beautiful, grounded fiancé. The word grounded felt like a subtle dagger. I focused on my campaign, capturing the raw beauty of winding road to Hana, the dramatic silhouette of a surfer against a tangerine sky, the intimate portrait of a laymaker's weathered hands. The Aurora creative director wrote, "Maya, this is career-defining work." The campaign launched on a Monday morning. Aurora's channels exploded with my visuals. There was the mystical shot of a sea turtle gliding through turquoise water, the dramatic silhouette of a surfer against a tangerine sky, the intimate portrait of a laymaker's weathered hands. Each post was tagged, "Photography by Maya Sterling." My handle was everywhere. The digital explosion was instantaneous. My follower count skyrocketed by 50,000 in hours. My inbox became a sea of blue check verification marks, editors, brand directors, a famous travel documentary series. The world was seeing in high definition what my family had refused to see. Then the hesitant texts from home began. A cousin, is this you all over Aurora's page? This is insane. Another, Maya, these photos are breathtaking. Why didn't you tell us? Finally, my mother called, her voice uncharacteristically tentative. Maya, we saw the campaign. It's quite beautiful. Thank you, I replied, my voice calm. Why didn't you tell us it was so significant? You never asked. You called it a hobby. A flustered silence. My father's voice boomed in the background, coming on the line. We're proud of you, kid. We just didn't understand the scale. You didn't try to, I said softly. You were too busy being proud of the future that looked familiar. Kyle texted later, saw the pics, cool stuff. No apology, no acknowledgement of his role. The golden child's currency was condescension. This time, it bounced off me. I didn't reply. The following week, I delivered the keynote address at the Wanderlust Creator Summit in Honolulu. I spoke about defining success on your own terms, about the courage to be misunderstood. The standing ovation was a physical wave of validation. Leo was in the front row, grinning. Afterward, I signed contracts for a collaborative book deal and a role as a creative director for a new ecotourism platform. I returned home a different person. The need for their approval had been incinerated in the Hawaiian sun. When my parents hosted a strained welcome home dinner, Kyle and Vanessa were there. Vanessa peppered me with questions about the industry, her interest a transparent veneer. Kyle attempted a joke. Guess we should have saved you a seat, huh? Might have gotten some free photos. I smiled, a genuine, effortless one. It's okay. The view from where I was standing was perfect. The table fell into a baffled silence. They were waiting for my old script, the defense, the hurt, the plea for recognition. But that character was gone. I had built a life so vibrant and substantial that their exclusion no longer felt like a punishment, but like missing the main event. They thought my trip to Hawaii was a petty escape. In truth, it was my arrival. I hadn't run away from their rejection. I had run towards my own undeniable truth. The phone that blew up wasn't just ringing with notifications. It was the sound of my own world, vast and welcoming, finally drowning out their narrow, disapproving whispers for good.